All right, guys, Levi Trumbull reporting in Baker Park, Frederick, Maryland. We are here today to take interviews and cover a pro-Israel rally event here taking place right behind me.
And what we saw happen in Israel on Yom Kippur this year was pure evil. To take little children, I'm not even going to tell you. You guys all know. You've read the stories.
We need God to rise up against the enemy, to show that he is mighty and he is all-powerful.
In every generation, someone has tried to destroy us. But they did not succeed. We survived and we thrived.
What does Hamas mean in Hebrew? It means, as my rabbi described, it means moral depravity. It means robbery. It means corruption.
This is not a war between two nations, but a battle between good and evil, between light and darkness.
Israel did not ask for this attack. Israel does not support this attack. And anyone who does is on the side of evil. The mission in Israel today is to annihilate the terrorists and the terrorist regime once and for all.
All right, so now we are here with former Delegate Neil Parrott. So my question for you, Neil, is why was it important for you today to be here at this event here in Frederick?
Well, thanks, Levi. I got the invitation from Fred Profiter. It's important that we stand with Israel at this time. As I talked about a second ago, what we're seeing is pure evil when you have Hamas launching those types of attacks on the citizens of Israel. It's just pure evil. We have to stand up against evil. I'm thankful that our country is standing alongside Israel, and we need to fight with them.
I thought it was time for people who are pro-Israel, who are for Israel, to stand together and come together.
I stand against what Hamas is doing, what the people in Palestine are doing.
This was all on a personal level for me. I was raised in a Christian home. My father, studied Hebrew. I have always been taught that we need to stand and protect Israel. It's God's word that we stand and protect Israel.
What do you think the American consensus should be on this issue between this conflict, Gaza and Israel?
I think that every American, because Israel's our biggest ally, should say, I stand with Israel and I support Israel. Every congressional candidate, every congressman, every senator, every governor, anybody who's an elected official should be saying, I stand with Israel, and should write a resolution condemning Hamas and supporting Israel.
The consensus should be recognizing that Hamas and Islamic Jihad are evil, and they showed it. They continue to show it. They showed it with the videos where they were mocking and humiliating the hostages that they brought back into Gaza. They should know that Hamas is evil by the way they massacred the Supernova Music Festival in Kibbutz Re'im. 1 out of every 10 people who went to that festival, there were 3,000 people who went to that festival, 300 of them were murdered, and who knows how many were taken captive and taken back into Gaza.
As President Ronald Reagan said, I quote him directly, peace through strength. And the Israelis have an expression too, quote, peace for peace.
Let us join our hearts together and pray for peace in Israel at this most difficult time.
Pete Barnes is another candidate for Congressional District 6. He's also the mayor, Burgess of Woodsboro. And he says, I fully support Israel's right to defend itself against Hamas and other enemies that is trying to destroy them. The eradication of Hamas is long overdue. I believe it's America's duty to stand by our ally in the Middle East to ensure that they win against the evils that are coming against them.
We need to stand up and protect Israel. We need to defeat Hamas. We need to annihilate them. And we, as a consensus, we need to, this is a terrorist attack. And if you think that this is not going to happen on American soil, you're wrong.
What effect do you think this has on the Jewish community, not just in Israel, but all over the world, here in America, here in Frederick County, Maryland?
Yeah, well, I think it just reminds us all that there's hate and there's evil, and we have to stand up against it wherever and whenever and with as full strength that we can.
I grew up near a Jewish enclave in Silver Spring, and there was always a Jewish kid that was better than me in everything. I remember we had a book reading contest, and at the end of one semester, I was tied with another young lady named Sandy Landman. She ended up beating me by one book. And then later on, we went to our 50th high school reunion. Guess who she brought to the reunion? A book.
Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom.